From the heart of downtown, the 11th annual Dia de los Muertos at Hemisfair is brought to you by your San Antonio area Chevy dealers.
So what we're doing is opening up the space by asking permission of the land, of those ancestors of this land, to offer these altares, to offer these danzas, to offer this space of celebration. It's just kind of taking a moment to be present with the sacredness of connections back to the underworld and to the ancestors for Dia de los Muertos.
Wow, and what a special way to kick off the 11th annual Dia de los Muertos right here at Hemisfair. Good evening and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Stefania Jimenez.
Yeah, what a special way to start off what is a special celebration. I'm Steve Spreester. We come to you from the heart of downtown San Antonio in the middle of all of this action. And tonight we celebrate a very special holiday where we not only honor the loved ones who have passed, we celebrate their lives.
And this specific event has grown tremendously over the last decade. It started out as a tiny little gathering at La Villita, and now 130,000 people come here every single year.
Yeah, it has even been named one of the best fall festivals by National Geographic, and there's no doubt that the popularity has grown over recent years. But this is a holiday that is deeply rooted in history.
To understand where Dia de Muertos comes from, we must go back more than 3,000 years from pre-Columbian times in Mexico.
The Nahuas, the people who become the Mexica, the Aztecs, they very much see that interrelationship of the living with the ancestors as being something that's part of the cosmic natural order. And
in this place of Mictlampa, which is the direction of the ancestors, or what people consider like the underworld, it's a space where the ancestors live, but it's also a space where the unknown exists.
They saw these worlds as very much intermingled and forever so.
The Aztecs' beliefs built the foundation for the altar and the offerings.
There was always a reciprocity with creation by bringing all of the beautiful things that blossom out of nature to the altar of like either our ancestors or whatever patron you're petitioning to or you have a connection to.
The rituals evolved when the Spanish Catholic conquistadores arrived.
Both the Christians and the Aztecs had deep curiosities about our interrelationships with the worlds of the dead. And the biggest difference in terms of the indigenous world is that that link between the lands of the living and the dead was always present. It didn't just open up at a certain part of the year.
The Spanish 500 years ago believed our loved ones' path to us opened as the seasons changed.
Somehow those traditions merged and they shaped what's come to be known as Dia de los Muertos in Mexico.
We, from across the city, come together as one, not just to remember and honor our ancestors, but to embrace culture.
The music, the altars, the crafts, the food, all come together in a very unique San Antonio celebration, but also a very familiar celebration that someone from Mexico would walk into and recognize as being part of their culture.
As the celebration of Dia de Muertos evolves, the heart of the holidays remains the same.
For me, the heart of Dia de los Muertos is celebration.
Something very profound is stirring in the Dia de los Muertos event, in the fiesta. And the fiesta always contains some mystery, some hope of some new meaning.
Just as deeply as we grieve them being gone, we can be equally, if not more, joyful that they come and visit us during this time.
What makes this event so unique is all the people. It is free. It is open to all ages, and we have certainly seen San Antonio show up and show out for this event. We saw people in folklorico outfits. We saw people dressed up in their Day of the Dead finest.
Yes.
And this is truly a celebration tonight.
I mean, people go all out for this, and it's obvious when you walk around and you see that. But, you know, this has quickly become one of the city's most beloved events. Our Sarah Costa has been wandering the grounds here at Civic Park, and she shows us exactly how the visitors here embrace not just the holiday, but also the culture here.
The costumes, the altars, the music. Let's go check it out. Y'all are who's from Arkansas?
We are Arkansas on that end.
I just love seeing the new designs that so many of these artists come up with.
Every year it seems to get bigger, and so this year we decided to build a church. And we did, 2 bell towers, the whole 9 yards.
I love seeing everybody dress up and get in the spirit. It's just seeing everyone just so glammed up and ready to have fun. I think that's really what it is.
Butterfly goddess, butterfly queen, what are you going for here?
Well, I'm actually going for what monarchs symbolize, which is taking souls from the underworld and transporting them to this celebration.
It's to honor my mother. She always did our Halloween costumes. This was her favorite time of year, so it's to honor her every time I do this costume.
One, because it's one of our favorite events before we were even vendors, but 2, because we personally celebrate Dia de los Muertos. It's really close to our heart.
It's the excitement of being together, of celebrating Day of the Dead, which are relatives. We have several that have passed on, and we're celebrating them today.
A family tradition continuing beyond even death.
My grandma, we used to come every single year. She loved it. Like, she loved seeing someone else's altars, how their family remember their ancestors, their family, and that they care for them. Even though they're no longer with us physically, they're with us in heart.
Even just walking around Muertos Fest, you open up a world of remembrance.
It opens up my heart to know that he touched so many lives. I just had 2 cheerleaders that had cheered with him when he was younger, and she was crying at the altar. I was behind it, and she called me over here and said she was really glad to know that, I was doing this. We were doing it for him.
Everyone grieves differently, and sometimes it can take months, it can take years. It doesn't matter how long it takes when you have them in your heart and you know that you're doing something for them.
Celebrating and remembering together as a community.
This is such an amazing event. So much to do, so much to see, a lot of activities spread throughout the new Civic Park where we are, all the way into Hemisfair Park.
And everyone here, everybody here, from the dancers and the musicians to the altar builders, the spectators, everybody here is honoring somebody special. Now, some tributes are intimate and they honor family members.
Yeah, and there are also some that are honoring local icons like artist Jesse Trevino. There's even altars here honoring the great Paul Rubens, who passed away. You might know him better as Pee Wee Herman.
That's right. Now, throughout the night, we're going to take you throughout the grounds right here at Muertos Fest for a closer look at how San Antonio celebrates life.
Yeah, and it is not a celebration without music. As a matter of fact, you might hear the cumbia music that's playing behind us right now. All kinds of different genres that are out here. But the headliner that's coming up a little bit later is a lively performance we're going to bring you by Oso Motley. They are a Billboard Top 200 band, and they've come to us all the way from Los Angeles, California.
But first, meet a young musician who calls San Antonio home. Maria Angela and her family moved here from Mexico when she was just 11 years old. But long before then, they were making music together as a family.
Yeah, and before her performance tonight, we caught up with her and her brother to talk about the heartwarming connection that they have to music and Dia de los Muertos.
My 19th birthday, I just wanted to record a music video, but I didn't have any songs yet. And I asked my brother, the only thing I want you to give me, I don't want any gifts. I just want you to come out in the video playing the guitar. And he's like, fine. So you could see his face in the video. He's like this is not.
I was cringing so bad.
I was cringing. My name is Maria Angela. I'm a singer, songwriter, and musician, and I reside here in San Antonio, Texas. Definitely my first memory with music has been with you when we were little and we used to go to music class, remember?
We were in the choir together since we were like, what, 6? You were 6 or 7, I was like 9.
I also have one memory by myself when I was young, and that was the first time that people told me that I was a good singer. It was in my first communion. And my friends were like, Marian, canta, canta, because my friends had heard me sing, right?
You were like in Monterrey still.
Yeah, I was very small, I was like 6. They were pressuring me to sing, but I was scared, and I was like, okay, voy a cantar, pero me voy a voltear, no los quiero ver. And I turned around.
They were like, who's singing?
¿Quién está cantando? Nobody believed it, like my parents were like, ¿canta bien? Like naturally, we were always gravitated towards everything that was involving music. But I wrote this song, Soñarte, because one of my dad's best friends died one day before Christmas Eve, remember? And I wrote this song to honor that grief, not really to talk about death, but to talk about like the presence of those people that leave. I think the video and that experience that we lived together was very special, and it just prepared us for like the next thing, right? There's a part in the song that goes like, paso como la lluvia que cae en mi cumpleaños en el peor momento, right? And it started raining.
Yeah.
And then I had to shoot a scene right after where it was like an open field. And I was like, dang, like the clouds, it's gonna look dark, it's gonna look weird, like no. And there's a part in the song that goes like, Reíamos por debajo del atardecer, sé que aún estás ahí, aunque no pueda verte a los ojos. And the rain stopped, and then you just see the most amazing and beautiful sky and sunset. Yeah. Like I couldn't believe it. It was one of those moments where you realize that what you're doing is what you're supposed to do, yeah. And there's like a bigger force supporting you right there, right? And my aunt, which is my grandma's sister on my dad's side, and she's like a grandma to us. Yeah. 4 days before the song is released, without planning it, we get the news that she passed. She never had kids, she never got married, but so she treated us like we were her grandkids, and she was like su persona era muy fuerte, o sea, nuestra familia, su presencia, like she was the one that in parties, like she stood up and she danced and she sang and she told you what she thought. And she would like call you like to tell you like, vamos, tú puedes. She was always there. It turned out to be that song that I wrote for somebody else, and I did feel the song deep in my heart, but since I didn't write it for myself, it was strange. It was a strange emotion. Then it completely became mine. That song in specific honors what death should really be. It's supposed to be grieving, it's supposed to be hard, it's supposed to be difficult, but the memories that you keep with that person is what makes that person live forever in your heart. And I always feel like when I'm about to perform that song, she's there.
is just ahead, but this celebration would not be possible without the support of the community.
That's right. I mean, it's all about the community, and this is a look at how people from all walks of life can celebrate this holiday and really embrace everything that San Antonio has to offer.
I've been setting up ofrendas since my parents passed away, right? But when I was a little boy, my mother and I would travel to Monterrey to put flowers on my grandparents' graves. So listen to me and I'll make you real wise. You'll learn all the things these visitations comprise. And we did not set up an ofrenda like the one you'll see here today. Ours was very simple. Thank you, friends, for joining me today here at Que Vivan los Muertos, sponsored by AARP.
We offer a lot of opportunities for our members to get out, to be active, and really just to enjoy their city. So it is a sneak preview for them. And all they have to do is pre-register. And really, members and non-members can do that. And it's at arp.org/local. They could go there, or go to our Facebook, ARP Texas, and we also have a toll-free number as well. Our members were able to come in before everything opens and really come and experience an altar-making workshop.
They really are a story. They're the story of the people we love. On the ofrenda that I have today, I have some elements that speak to what my parents did for a living, how they lived, right? The types of food they like to eat. So when you see an ofrenda, look at it and read all the elements. 4 basic elements we include. It's earth, wind, fire, and water. You can already see wind, right? Yeah, that's what papel picado is for. Papel picado, you cannot see wind, but you can see what it does. And what it does, it moves us. And when the wind is blowing, you know that our guests of honor are visiting. And all those things are represented on an ofrenda, as well as many, many ancient traditions that are hidden right underneath our nose.
You know, the inspiration really comes from being here in San Antonio, the rich Hispanic culture that we have here for everyone to enjoy. It really did stem from that, but then also our membership giving us feedback and our volunteers that Dia de los Muertos is one to be celebrated. They really express the appreciation that this day allows us time to celebrate. Mentally, it brings you this comfort.
Even though it's got the word muertos in it, we really aren't talking about death. We're talking about life. The life we shared with people that we love that are no longer with us physically, but they still live right here. Like my mom, my dad, my abuelita, and so many other people that we're inviting here today.
Don't go anywhere. The show is just getting started. Tonight, we'll get an intimate look at some of the 80-plus altars out here at Muertos Fest, inspiring stories of extraordinary fathers and resilient women. The builders share how they're celebrating their loved ones with their designs.
Plus, it's not a celebration without music. You don't want to miss a special performance honoring the mother of mariachi, Miss Belle Ortiz. And after the break, a one-of-a-kind procession makes its way through the park with tributes on foot, wheels, and even stilts.
The 11th annual Dia de los Muertos at Hemisfair is brought to you by your San Antonio area Chevy dealers.
And this, my friends, is when it gets really good. Day has turned into night here at Muertos Fest in downtown San Antonio, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah, and it is a totally different vibe than what we had earlier. I mean, it's cooler. The sun has gone down. The lights on a lot of these altars are now lit up, but we have a special treat for you. It is a processional that is taking part with artists, musicians. We have local dancers and mobile altars, which are basically moving altars that are paying tribute to the loved ones lost.
Basically a one-of-a-kind procession. You're not going to see this anywhere else. And you're really in for a treat because this year we actually have more participants than ever. I mean, we're hearing double from what we had last year.
Yeah, now it's made its way through Hemisfair. We are actually in Civic Park, the new part of the park downtown.
Leading the procession right here is Kalpuli Ayolopatsin, a group of families working together to retribalize families of indigenous origins through the Nahuatl language. And look at them dancing.
Isn't this great? They do this through the traditions of Mexican indigenous healing and Danza Mexica Chichimeca, commonly referred to as Aztec dance.
Yeah, Ayolopatzin shares their rich heritage with the community by way of community blessings and also cultural presentations throughout the year. And they do this all over South Texas.
Yeah, let's listen in just a little bit. They honor the lineage of indigenous excellence that empowers communities to decolonize, heal, and center ancestral connection to land, ritual, and each other.
How appropriate that they're the ones actually leading this procession here, but you hear their music, you hear them on the drums, and they're really trying to get the crowd ready for what's to come after them.
Yes. So much because look at the backdrop. I mean, you are in the heart of downtown San Antonio. You have an organization here that wants to empower the indigenous people, and it's just it's so powerful to watch.
And they start them off young. If you notice, there are a few children as a part of that procession there, which is a wonderful thing because this is what Muertos Fest is all about. Culture, heritage, but also passing that on to the next generation. And that's what you see here. And that was Calpuli Ayolo Paxin.
Just amazing.
That's amazing.
This is amazing too. The Guadalupe Cultural Arts Center and its dance company celebrates the life of Pedro Rodriguez, the legendary director of the Guadalupe Cultural Arts Center, the GCAC, from 1983 to 1998, paying tribute to a life lost.
An elder statesman of Chicanx arts, Rodriguez helped to build legacy programs, which, by the way, Guadalupe celebrates today, including the Tejano Conjunto Festival and also Cine Festival.
Yeah, and this is, he's an important individual in the history of this organization. He led the Guadalupe in the forming of the Guadalupe Dance Company and restoring the Guadalupe Theater. His work helped breed the next generation of arts administrators and cultural leaders, continuing with his legacy on the foundation he laid at the Guadalupe.
He also served as a national leader in Latinx arts, founding the National Association of Latino Arts and Culture, and what a contribution. Now, right here you have the Mexican consulate in San Antonio. This is one of the oldest representations of Mexico abroad. We know that in 1861, Presidents Abraham Lincoln and Benito Juarez from Mexico established the consulate in recognition of the historical, economic, and cultural ties that really unite Mexico and San Antonio.
Yeah, their constituency includes 27 counties in southern Texas.
And here you have Providence Catholic High School. This is a Catholic college preparatory school. It's in downtown San Antonio. It's for young women, grades 6 through 12, and they're sponsored by the Sisters of the Congregation of Divine Providence, the CDPS.
Yeah, and this kind of shows the blending of the cultures, the Catholic Church and the All Saints Day, along with some of the indigenous heritage that we have in this area. Providence High School's dance team honors the sisters who have passed on.
So next up, we have a group of local artists and business owners honoring Esther Guajardo, who passed away just this last June.
Yeah, Miss Guajardo was an active member of the local art community. She was very well known for her beautiful tapestry artwork, hand-sewn aprons, and many other beautiful creations like the ones you see here.
Now, this is a procession organized by the art vendors of Dia de los Muertos, who consider Miss Guajardo an inspiration to their community of crafters and creators.
We'll be right back. Next, we have Grupo Folklorico, and they are here in honor of Ricardo C. Munoz, somebody I know very well. He passed at the age of 64 on Friday, December 9th, 2022. He started his folklorico dance studies in Mexico, and he brought him to San Antonio, known as the folklorico maestro of the Bonham Academy and the San Antonio Dance Academy. He taught my daughters folklorico.
That is so
And he was
cool.
actually one of our neighbors as well.
Also, he had a strong passion in folklorico, and that's awesome. And
Mr. Munoz.
And here we have the Teatro de Artes de Juan Seguin.
Yeah, Vicky Betancourt de la Rosa was instrumental in the formation of Teatro de Artes de Juan Seguin, a non-profit cultural arts organization, revered cultural, educational, and humanities institution in Seguin, Texas. And look at that. That's what this procession is all about. And you're getting up close and personal out here with this crowd and some of these mobile altars.
Now, Teatro, by the way, recently celebrated its 41st anniversary of serving Seguin, which is pretty awesome.
SATX, Inner City Development now, a volunteer organization on San Antonio's west side, provides food and clothing to our city's unhoused population, many of them coming to Inner City on a regular basis. Some have been coming to Inner City for years, and they try to get their needs met.
And this is pretty cool because tonight specifically, they're honoring 4 of their friends who recently passed away this year alone on the streets, unfortunately, like many of the unhoused.
Yeah, passed away alone in many cases on the streets of San Antonio.
And right here, they're also paying special tribute to Charlie Ross, Joey Ramirez, and other unhoused neighbors. Of course, we're thinking of them tonight.
Absolutely. A very quiet and somber procession from Inner City Development.
And that there is the family of Hays County Deputy Sheriff Fernando T. Amaya, and they're honoring his life tonight. He was an immigrant who worked tirelessly to help his mother support and care for 10 younger siblings. Fernando had a great smile. He was outgoing and friendly, and on his spare time, he actually volunteered at nursing homes, and he also patrolled the high school football games, obviously leaving a lasting legacy. We mentioned that he was an immigrant, and that's why you see the Mexican flag.
Yeah, his family tells us he loved going to the San Marcos River and riding his bike. On the morning of August 25th, 2008, his life cut short when on his way to work on his bicycle, Fernando was struck by a driver that ended his life.
And obviously his family misses him greatly, also his closest friends. And every year for Dia de los Muertos, they get together to build his ofrenda and also just celebrate his life. This right here is Las Monas Performance Group. These are in 2005. 7 artistic, very close friends applied their love for dance and performance art to found, and they founded Las Monas Performance Group, and it's headed by director Amparo Moreno.
Yeah, with their combined talents and Ms. Moreno's creative costuming, there evolved a collection of one-of-a-kind giant puppets as part of this. And let's listen in and get some of the sights and sounds.
Las Monas has traveled locally and also internationally, and they've really done this before thousands of people. They've educated and promoted not just the history, but also the culture of Day of the Dead, which is a celebration honoring and reuniting our living and dead loved ones.
So, of course, it makes perfect sense that they are here and they are part of this procession tonight. The award-winning group has been part of the procession of Muertos Fest since its beginnings, and they continue that tradition right here as you're watching. And these are some of those giant puppets that they put together. One of a kind.
Truly.
Just the, I mean, they're beautiful, they're stunning, but just the engineering that goes into these giant puppets to get them to move and dance and do some of the things that they are doing.
Yeah,
it's a you know, more than just an artistic endeavor.
They clearly put their love
Absolutely.
The costumes and also those puppets. I don't think there's anything else like it throughout this procession. So kudos to them for doing something so unique, really during a day when you see nothing but things that really surprise you here from Muertos Fest. People really pour their hearts into this, and it's obvious. It shows.
Yeah, we talked about the deputy in Hays County that passed away on his bike, Deputy Sheriff Fernando T. Amaya, and this kind of fits in with that as well. This is the SATX Social Ride and Hill Country Ghost Bike. Hill Country Ghost Bike, a nonprofit organization that works with families of fallen cyclists to provide a ghost bike memorial for their loved ones. You might have seen them around town, usually white with flowers and photos on those bicycles.
Yeah, SATX Social Ride is a community-forward, grassroots cycling organization that really provides weekly encouraging cycling experience for cyclists, and tonight that group is specifically honoring 20 cyclists.
All right, let's do a little samba now. Following them, some very special visitors. Listen to the sounds of Austin Samba right now.
They're certainly into it. The drum and dance group from Austin, Texas has been sharing their love for Brazilian music since 2001. And you just can't sit still when you hear samba. You just want to go ahead and move along with them.
Yeah, I saw you over there.
Yeah.
Many of these performers perform during the famous Rio de Janeiro Carnival. Austin Samba plays traditional Rio-style samba, samba reggae, and other music adapted from Afro-Brazilian traditions from around the world. Short trip south on I-35. So happy to have Austin Samba part of the procession this year.
Let's listen into a little bit more of their drums.
Next, I believe we have the House of Angeline de Carlo. It's an informal group dedicated to preserving the creative genius of iconic and beloved San Antonio artist Rebecca Medina, who passed away at the age of 56 years old on June 19th, 2022. And this is what sets this procession apart.
Look at that. Yeah, I'm telling you, I said before you didn't see anything like the puppets, and now you have this. I mean, it's really their unique and extravagant work that you can find at various festivals, parades, and fashion shows throughout San Antonio and surrounding cities.
Yeah, her biggest reward of all was seeing the joy on people's faces when they saw Rebecca Medina costumes or dolls, these art objects represented in tonight's procession.
And there you have the Ballet Folklorico of San Antonio. They've really participated in numerous Muertos Fests in the past. They've created some amazing altars, but this year they're actually joining the procession and keeping in with their tradition. They've chosen to honor their family members who've completed their journeys on Earth, but have left their marks on our hearts.
Familia Vasquez is next as we near the end of tonight's procession. They walk with a very special tribute to Ramon Vasquez y Sanchez, who is credited with revitalizing the Dia de los Muertos holiday here in San Antonio. The beloved leader, activist, and artist died this May.
Yeah, he was known for his work as a political organizer for La Raza Unida in the 70s, and he continued to fight for civil and indigenous rights throughout his life. He helped establish the American Indians in Texas at the Spanish colonial missions, where his kids, grandkids, and community still continue his efforts to this day.
Hey, look at that shot. I like that we have it well lit during this part, but it's also amazing just to see off into the distance some of the procession walking through the rest of this park.
And now you're really in for a treat, because wrapping up this procession is Campanas de América, which is honoring their manager, Belle Ortiz, a name that you hear a lot here in San Antonio. She was an educator and a musician who really shaped the trajectory of not just Campanas de América, but really mariachis across the city, the state, you could say even the country.
Yeah, she's a giant when it comes to the mariachi community. Founded in 1978, Belle, alongside her husband Juan, propelled Campanas to national recognition. They performed at the White House for presidents and celebrities.
And you see right there that sign that said SAISD, because this is also something that's taught in schools.
Yes,
which is
absolutely
awesome. And really at the core of their success was Belle's fundamental belief that education is key. She actually started her first mariachi class at Lanier High School back in 1970. From there, then she expanded teaching mariachi to junior and high schools all across the San Antonio Independent School District.
And when we come back, we're going to hear from those who knew her best as we prepare for a very special musical tribute.
Welcome back. In just a moment, we're going to welcome Campanas de America. They're going to be joined by a group of student mariachis for a special tribute to Miss Belle Ortiz.
But first, we caught up with her children, her family, to learn more about her lasting legacy.
My mom, she saw such goodness in everybody. Her eyes only saw the good in people, and her heart was so forgiving because there were a lot of doors that were closed, and she just continued to persevere.
We grew up always with her playing the piano. I remember on Saturdays she would get this big songbook, like a notebook style, and it had show tunes on it, or Broadway, or any kind of music, whether it was Christmas music, church music. And so, you know, consequently, she passed that on down to her children, because we all love, and now grandchildren and great-grandchildren love all music, especially mariachi.
It really was radical what she was thinking back in the 70s. I mean, it was just the craziest idea to think that mariachi music should be in the school system.
It was a time when Spanish was not allowed in the school districts, particularly in San Antonio School District. And so she found a way to bring Spanish to these children that lived on the west side. It was part of their culture. And so what she did was she taught Spanish through song. She went on to start a group at the first mariachi at Lanier High School, and the rest is her legacy.
So she had to kind of really fight for that right to be able to teach mariachi music, and she won. It's great to be able to teach mariachi music in school, but there was no resources. Her and her husband, Juan Ortiz, talked about starting a conference. That conference invited students from all over the country to come and learn from Mariachi Vargas, to get sheet music, to get written music, to have a resource to be able to learn it and to perform it. So from there, that one little conference grew into conferences throughout the U.S. and then put mariachi education inside all the high schools, middle schools, colleges, and now there's actually people getting degrees in mariachi music.
She knew it would be a springboard for higher education. Somebody was talking to me and they were asking me, what is a mariachi? And I said, well, it can be anything that you want it to be. It's a detective, it's a school teacher, it's a principal, it's a nurse, it's a lawyer, it's a doctor.
And that was her superpower. You know, she knew how to make mariachi cool, right?
You can go to restaurants and you have these mariachis that are singing, and then you have festivals, you know, so I feel like my mom just opened up this door, and she just knew that this dream of hers, this thinking of wanting to elevate mariachi music was gonna just blow up, and that's what has happened. It's blown up. It's all over the country. I just think that she was a rock star teacher, a master teacher, and knew exactly how to connect these people, so that these students, so that they could fit in and feel proud. Because when you hear mariachi music, you just want to do a grito, and it makes you smile.
perdí. Pero no les digas cuando así me dijiste a mí, por eso vivo penando. ¡Viva el mariachi, sí señor! Quiero ver aquí con su rebozo de seda que le traje de Tepic. Cuando me traes a mi negra, que la quiero ver aquí con su rebozo de seda que le traje de Tepic.
Amazing.
Love that.
Jefferson, Lanier, Burbank, Fox Tech, SAC, UIW, all students that are playing with Campanes de America tonight, and what a fitting tribute to Bella Ortiz.
Yeah, and that song that you just heard was Son de la Negra.
And we'll be right back after this. Welcome back. There is so much to see and do here at Muertos Fest, but what really sets this festival apart welcome back. There is so much to see and do here at Muertos Fest, but what really sets this festival apart are the altars.
And there are more than 80 of them throughout Hemisfair tonight, each of them custom built and handmade by members of the community to tell a unique story of someone who's passed on.
Yeah, some of them take on a completely original concept. Some of them are more, steeped in the roots of what Dia de los Muertos is all about. Steeped in what you would see in Mexico or in some San Antonio homes.
But before we get a closer look at the altars here tonight, we want to learn about some of the essentials that you'd need in order to build one for yourself.
Another word for altares is ofrenda, meaning offering. Our offerings help guide and welcome our loved ones back into the world of the living. A traditional ofrenda is made of 7 levels, representing the heaven and earth and all the steps in between. Today you can pick 3. The first level represents the heavens and the loved ones you're honoring. Here you'll place their pictures along with any religious, spiritual, or cultural symbols. The second level represents the pleasures of the earth, like abuelito's favorite candy or your aunt or uncle's favorite homemade meals, tamales, or even a tequila or a beer. You can place pan de muertos, a pan dulce made especially for the holidays. Here you can place items representing their time on earth, like a camera, baseball, or a spoon, if they loved photography, sports, or cooking. The last level is where the spirit of our ancestors restored themselves. Leaving salt and a glass of water will purify and nourish their souls for their journey back. The glow of candles is believed to help guide spirits during their visit. Place them throughout your altar for a nice, warm welcome. The bright yellow marigolds or cempasúchil, because of their vibrance and smell, guide our ancestors home. The sweet aroma of incense leads spirits back by scent, plus a subtle smoke is believed to lift our prayers and ward off evil. If you can find it, use copal. Its sacred scents can be traced back to healing rituals in pre-Columbian times. Sugar skulls are another practice. They represent the sweetness of life, and because they wash away with rain, they remind us of our mortality. Like the people they represent, each ofrenda is unique. No matter how it's built, the goal is to forever remember our ancestors.
So much detail goes into the creation of these altars, and the symbolism behind them is just so beautiful.
Yeah, and I just love that it's all a celebration of life.
Yeah.
And there are really no rules in this whole thing. They're all different sizes and shapes and styles, especially here at Muertos Fest tonight.
In fact, something that Muertos Fest has really made part of its tradition is a massive community altar where anybody could come in and take the opportunity to honor their loved ones.
I put two of my loved ones down today. My mother, who passed away just last year, so it's been tough the past year. And the second picture I put down is my nephew. He was 23 years old.
Since its inception, the community altar has been a focal point at Muertos Fest, a chance for anyone to take part in this beautiful tradition.
The celebration, the honoring, the remembering of a dearly departed, an antepasado, a deceased pet. The festival is centered around the community altar as we are celebrating, honoring the people that we've lost over the years, and that is the integral part of Muertos Fest. That's the center of the festival itself.
I think it's great that the whole community can come together. You can submit your photos online, you can bring one here. I actually tried to do both just to make sure that my loved ones were here and that we still honor them and we still continue to celebrate them.
Tonight, marigolds and candles lead the way for the hundreds of souls pictured.
And as they make that long journey, we want them to understand and know that we love them. We honor them. We celebrate them.
Mariana Vasquez takes care of all the ofrenda essentials.
We want them to know how grateful we are that we had them in our lives at all. So we want to give them the sweetest, the spiciest, the highest alcohol volume, the best tobacco, the best canciones.
The best for those that are still loved so much.
He was my everything until 2016. Yeah, he was amazing.
Definitely has been heartbreaking to our family. To have my mom pass away so soon has been definitely double heartbreaking. But to honor, my nephew who was so young, death comes in all different ages. You never know. My mom always said, you never know when it's your time. When it's your time, it's your time. So honoring my nephew, forever 23, we're going to continue to do that.
And for some, this altar helps them heal, knowing they aren't grieving alone.
Why do you think it's important that we have something like a community altar in this festival?
Because not everybody mourns the same way, and here you feel comfort with it being everywhere, and it's okay.
There's still a full hour ahead. Later tonight, Oso Motley takes the stage. Plus,
after the break, we honor the legacy of a local artist and activist credited with the revival of Dia de los Muertos in San Antonio. Plus, the sisters of Eva Mireles return to Muertos Fest, paying tribute to the 21+1 Uvalde victims. Right now, you're taking another look at La Familia Vázquez as they honored Ramón Vázquez y Sánchez in that procession. Dia de los Muertos here in San Antonio simply just would not be what it is now if it weren't for him and his constant fight for Mexican and indigenous communities.
And we spoke with his son to learn more about his contributions not only to the city, but also to the art world.
My dad did not teach me how to play football. He did not teach me how to throw a ball with me. He didn't go fishing with me. We didn't do all those things that you would hear, you know, father and sons get to do. But what he did do was he had me at the marches. He had me at the political rallies. I am honored to call him my father. That's his desk. That's my father's original drawing desk. He was an artist, activist, champion of, you know, raza, no doubt. As a community, Dia de los Muertos was always important to our families. But it was something that happened within closed doors, very private, very secluded, very intimate, and even in our front yards. But the rest of the city, the rest of the communities didn't know that what was happening. And so what he wanted to do was he wanted to take those traditions and put them in and include them in fine art galleries. So the question was like, well, where do we put it? The way he was, well, let's create it. And so he created Expresión Art Gallery, Fine Arts Gallery. That was his idea. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted the rest of the city, the state, to understand that our families have been making contributions to the development of this city since the very beginning, and that our culture and traditions are just as important as anybody else's culture and traditions, and they should be protected and celebrated in the exact same way. I think that all that advocacy, that social conscience that was instilled in my father more than likely came from his mother, who was an activist in her own time. Yeah, so this is my grandmother, my father's mother, 1939. They helped form the Native American Voters League in 1939. My father was in her womb at the time. He used his art as a medium to provide narrative change. In his later days, he was known for his work around the missions and painting the missions. And in every one of his paintings of the missions, he would always put people. And I asked him one time, I asked him, Dad, why do you always put people? And he told me, he says, because history today has erased our people that inhabited and built these missions. And so it's my job to put them back. That's what he was doing. He was very intentional about all his work that he did. Every stroke of his brush, every stroke of his pen were very intentional in regards to his messages. And so what he instilled in me was that consciousness to be aware of the injustices and to fight at any cost, to fight and to protect what we have left. And that message is what guides me, my sons, my daughter, my sisters, my brother. All of their characters are shaped by the influence of my father. I think it's going to be many generations down the road before that memory of Ramón Vázquez y Sánchez fades.
As we said at the beginning of this broadcast, this tends to be almost like a yearbook for the city of San Antonio. That's certainly true with Mr. Sanchez, and it is definitely true for this next person.
Eva Mireles was one of the teachers killed at Robb Elementary in Uvalde, just 90 minutes west of San Antonio. And this May marked 1 year since that tragedy, which still feels so fresh to the people of this community.
Yeah, they are actually here tonight. They're actually our neighbors just on the other side of where we're broadcasting from. It was great to visit with her family, and they talked about what went in to building this altar to the 21+1.
Although I cannot speak about my sister without crying like a baby,
I would love to tell the world about Eva because she was a very special person to us, and she was a special teacher. My name is Maggie Mireles.
And I'm Rosalba Garcia, and this year for the Dia de los Muertos, we're honoring Eva Mireles.
We knew we had to. We knew that we wanted to make sure that we honor and remember Eva because, you know, she meant the world to us. There's, you know, that's all we have left is trying to celebrate her and just make sure that we keep remembering her, keep spreading her story, keep spreading her life, and just, you know, not let it die down at all. It doesn't feel like Eva's not here because, you know, it's impossible to wrap our head around that Eva's not here and what happened to her, because never in a million years do you think your family member is going to go through something like that?
We're your typical Mexican family with like 30 cousins, right? I lived in Uvalde, they lived in Eagle Pass. Every weekend we would go visit our parents, we would stop off and try to pick both of them up, but Maggie was always sleeping until 12, so Eva was the only one that would go with me early in the morning, like at 8, and Maggie would catch up later with her mom. So we were constantly together. She was over every summer, Maggie was over in the summer, she was over every Christmas vacation, and so we grew up together. We had a lot of spare time, and we moved to San Antonio together, and we've all stayed really close our entire lives.
You know, everybody knew Eva as a teacher, as obviously a hero, a CrossFitter. You know, she was into her running, biking, hiking was her life. She absolutely loved that. We see her as a person that, or at least I see her in my eyes, I see Eva as like, I want to be like Eva. This is just a fraction, I mean, very tiny fraction of the flowers that people have left on Eva's memorial in Uvalde, like at the plaza. I thought this year it was very special to me that I incorporated these flowers that people, you know, strangers have left. I think it's just so special to me to be able to use stuff from people that actually cared and took the time to come and pay their respects. We thought about making it for Eva, like we're gonna dedicate this theme or this year to Eva, but you can't do that. You can't think about Eva and not think about Miss Irma, you know, Joe, all the kids. You know, I believe in what the meaning of Dia de los Muertos is, and that Eva will be happy and
she'll come back for a day and just say hi.
Eva's family gathered a list of all the students' favorite things like sports, flowers, even TikTok and Takis to place on the altar, honoring every one of them. They each got their own toy skeleton and their angel photo.
It's about those little details. The backdrop is also the same backdrop that they used for the Eva Strong Memorial Run in Uvalde. Eva's oldest sister, Sandra, and her best friend, Angela, also helped put this all together.
I love that. I love the picture in the backdrop because this is a celebration of life, and that picture of her exudes life.
Very celebratory.
More inspiring stories behind some of tonight's altars coming up after the break. We're going to check out 2 local schools honoring a familiar famous face and a San Antonio artist behind some of the city's most iconic murals.
And an East Side activist is forever in the heart of Denver Heights. His family shares how they honor his memory tonight and all year round. Welcome back to Dia de los Muertos right here at Hemisfair. You know, for a lot of the altar builders here, the concept of an ofrenda is really nothing new. They've actually been building them in their homes with their families for years.
Yeah, like this next family, the Arevalos, and they each year honor their father, David. David Arevalo was somebody that I got to know quite well in San Antonio in my job at KSAT 12. He was someone that was an outspoken activist for the people and the places on our city's east side. He was kind of a thorn in the side of city officials. I always appreciated that about him. He was an extraordinary man who meant the world not only to his children and his family, but certainly to the entire east side community.
Losing your father, it does a lot to you. You get lost. And I didn't know how to grieve with not having my dad around because he was my hero. You couldn't believe a hero like that can fall and die. David Arevalo isn't dead. He only dies when you stop speaking his name. When you stop remembering what he did for you or the community, that's when he officially dies. My name is Dominic Arevalo.
My name is Elizabeth Arevalo. We're honoring our father, David Arevalo.
Entrepreneur, environmentalist, activist, football coach,
mentor, father, uncle, husband. Even though my dad only lived 47 short years on this earth, he did so much in those 47 years that many people don't do. His roots are in the east side of San Antonio. He lived, worked, and played throughout the community. He ran for political office, right? He is certainly a child of the city that grew up to become an amazing leader.
At one point in time, back in the day, people used to leave their doors unlocked. And I'm talking about in all neighborhoods. So one thing my father wanted to do was create safe havens for the community and having these gatherings. Be proud of being from where you're from. If you're an East Sider, be proud to be an East Sider and represent where you're from.
He got the community together on holidays, especially Halloween.
It was a celebration for us all to get together in the community, for kids that can't go out there and walk door to door because they're maybe nervous to go to the wrong house. And it was one big party, one big celebration. So again, David Arevalo brought people together. That's who he was.
Outside of neighborhood associations, he started a nonprofit, Denver Heights Youth Sports Foundation. He offered free sports programs to youth in the East Side.
Ooh, man, I was coached by Coach Dave from I was about 5 years old to about 11, 12.
First met him at Douglas, I think it was 96, 97.
Fifth grade, I just moved to this area.
I'm gonna be honest, to me, he was like a second father.
Our coach was a father figure. He would come pick us up every summer, have us go work on houses or pass out flyers and stuff. He would come by every Thanksgiving and drop off turkeys.
Our helmets look a little beat up, our shoes are maybe a little flappy. We would go out there and blow teams out the water.
This is me actually right here. This is actually one of our first football games in the Alamo Dome. So for us, being 9 and 10 years old, being in the Alamo Dome, I mean, that was a huge difference for us. And I'm just being out there and then having the whole community behind us, it was amazing. And it was because of him, so.
He made us believe that you can go out there and you can do this.
He tried to teach us at a young age how to be men. And I think that's a big part of why I coach now.
Just having him in my life, you know, he's the reason I am who I am, you know, and I am where I am today.
You can't say thank you enough to somebody who just poured into you and wasn't expecting nothing in return.
My kids never got to meet their grandpa, right? But they know who their grandpa is, right? They've heard stories about him, they've seen photos of them. Every year as a family, not only do we celebrate his birthday, we celebrate him on Father's Day, we celebrate him on his death anniversary, we visit the cemetery frequently. And I would say more recently, you know, the tradition of Dia de los Muertos. My youngest has a movie to relate to it, right? She's seen the movie Coco, so she understands what it means to build an ofrenda. Even though they've never met him in the physical form, I hope that in the spiritual form they have that connection to him.
The Arevalo family says that they've built their personal ofrenda in their home every year since David Arevalo passed away in 2008. But this is the first year building a public altar out here at Muertos Fest. And they also continue the tradition that he started, which was a Halloween block party. So this time of year is obviously very special for that family.
Yeah, they said they also wanted to honor their father's siblings who have also passed away and their parents who immigrated here from Mexico and built the foundation for the Arevalo family.
And coming up, we're taking you inside an immersive altar. In just a bit, we're going to show you the final product of Casa Mil's altar design.
Honestly, I don't know if I could even put it in words. And I think that's why I choose to do it physically.
My name is Adrian Garcia.
My name is Diana Garcia, and we're a husband and wife artist duo.
When we did the first altar, it was really just to kind of get her out there, the story. Then that year ended, we were asked to come back on an invitation, and at that point, you know, we started kind of collaborating then. That's kind of where it started. This wall should take shape when we put the walls on.
When it came time to think how we wanted to celebrate my mother and his grandmothers, we wanted to be able to take a tradition that we cherish so deeply since we were children, and specifically for me was a tamalada. I vividly would remember my mother and my aunts, you know, putting together this big tamale making party. And it's an experience for those who've never done it before, and it's a labor of love. But we wanted to be able to create an immersive experience where somebody could walk into Abuelita's kitchen and feel as if they just arrived in time to help.
You'll see some nostalgia of things that you would probably find in your grandmother's home. So obviously some outdated, the wall phone, we even have one of those.
You can't depict grandma's or Abuelita's home without the screen door. So the slamming of the door, either you're in or you're out. So I think that is a fun little detail that I'm sure a lot of our visitors are going to get such a kick out of it. We as a culture can take something that could be considered so dark and obviously very sad, but celebrate it and understand that life doesn't have to necessarily end once she or he is gone. And that's something that was very important to me to teach my children, that although grandma was gone, she's still here, she's still, you know, doing what she did in life, just on the other side. And that's what makes these immersive installations so fun.
So we can hold that for the countertop.
Shelves, yeah. They're still cooking in the kitchen. They're still talking and selling chisme, and they're literally waiting for the next person to arrive so that they can serve them a plate of food.
They were very strong women. They were excellent cooks. I always knew every time I'd get there or go to either one of their houses, there was always something to eat ready. Between the both of them, they made the best tortillas ever. You know, they were just very amazing women. And very resilient, you know, stubborn too. But I mean, and they were just so amazing that they impacted my life and created, you know, part of who I am today.
All that she's taught me and all the beautiful lessons that I've learned, and that now I'm getting to teach my own daughters. So I'm grateful and thankful that I'm able to create an altar and connect with her every time and connect with my community as well.
Let's go inside the kitchen. This is an immersive altar. I'm gonna open the door for you. Sasa, this is the screen door that they said was so important. You wanna hear the slam. You know that you're in, you know, Abuelita's house once that screen door slams, but I want to take you through the details. I love these all the fiesta containers there. I just really feel like I'm in my own grandmother's kitchen. And like they said, this is an immersive experience. You're walking through the kitchen. You have the abuelitas making tamales. You have one of their mothers making tamales. They're taking the orders. You can smell the coffee beans. You're just really getting all of the senses going. I mean, they just thought of so many details in this immersive altar experience. I love all of the different HEB, you know, foils, the art. I think every Mexican-American household has that Last Supper painting or the painting of the Virgen on the wall here. And also all the different sayings that you're gonna hear when you come into this kitchen. And they made it so immersive. You can scan this QR code on your phone, and when you scan it, audio comes up of a conversation explaining why they did this. You can hear the pots and the pans, and of course, all of the photos like a traditional altar would have. I just love the detail and all of the hard work that went into this altar. Like I said, it doesn't feel like an altar. It feels like you're being transported into your grandmother's kitchen.
There are more than 80 altars here tonight for people to explore and to enjoy, spread throughout Hemisfair and here at Civic Park. Each one tells a unique story, but there's also a prize for the fan favorite.
There are 2 sections to the altar building competition, one for individual artists and another for student builders. And here's the thing, for schools, planning for such a huge project starts pretty much as soon as class is back in session.
Yeah, in fact, over the past 10 years, this one particular Northside High School that we're going to tell you about has been taking part in this tradition. This year, they are honoring a San Antonio artist who is a legend, who passed away in February of this year.
It comes from our heart because we love our city, we love our community, and it is a natural artistic process, just like Jesse Trevino would have with his artwork that we're having with ours here. My name is Ambra Hernandez. I'm a teacher at Stevens High School, and our art club is featuring Jesse Trevino for our altar at Muertos Fest this year. Miss Rankipan and I have been teaching together for 13 years, and it always starts in her room. We start brainstorming, and then we think about the students that we have coming in this year. Then we get them involved in talking about and researching what we need to do.
I did research on Jesse Trevino. I went more into depth about what he did, his artwork. It's actually pretty cool. The information I found about him is that he was a Vietnam War veteran, that during an injury, he was forced to paint with his left hand. It's just to show that, you know, nothing's impossible. He's inspired so many other artists in San Antonio. Local artists, big time artists, and even artists like me.
He's a fantastic muralist. He has a mural on the Children's Hospital, which is an angel and a little boy holding a dove.
I know when I was a kid, seeing that mural downtown, and I'm like, wow, like, it's such amazing artwork. It's eye-opening.
We wanted to really visualize it and really challenge ourselves to make it something more three-dimensional rather than, you know, 2D. And so we decided to bring out the wings rather than just have it like flat on the surface. And we have a couple separate teams working on any side murals that he's made before for other buildings.
And with this altar, it is taking all of the things that we've ever taught the kids between form and texture, shape, colors, painting. And when doing murals, it takes a village. It takes a community of artists to create these murals. It's not just Jesse Trevino's work. It's everybody that helped, his apprentices, volunteers, and it ties together with our students because we have drawing students and sculpture students, and it's all coming together. Just like his work came together to be part of San Antonio's history.
Now that is exactly what this holiday and event is all about, honoring and celebrating the legacy that people leave behind. Jesse Trevino lost his battle with throat cancer at 75 years old.
He continued his passion for art and community until his passing. His work can be found throughout the West Side and downtown, as well as inside the Central Library.
As for Stevens High School, they have won in either the student or the fan favorite category 5 out of the 10 previous years that they've taken part. Hey Stephanie, I have a question for you.
Okay.
What do you think of when you hear the da-da-da-da-da-da-da, or somebody says, I know you are, but what am I?
Okay, stop right there, because Steve, I don't want you to spoil this next story. Being part of Dia de los Muertos at Hemisfair is truly an immersive and really an artistic experience. Each year, the altar designs get bigger, they get better, they get more detailed.
They do, and that's the goal for one school honoring the legacy of an actor known for his wild, wacky, and crazy character.
Even to this day, in the mornings, I'm like, good morning, how do you do? Lots of surprises. That always is in my head when I'm walking down the hallway. But don't use it, you're probably gonna use it. Oh man. I'm Eric Cavazos. I'm the Nimitz Proper art teacher.
I'm Willie Sanchez. I teach at STEM Academy, and we have been working in Muertos Fest for, since 2014. So we're coming up on 10 years.
3 years ago, the Nimitz proper teachers, we started to collaborate with Mr. Sanchez, and we really kind of became a better team because of it. And as a school, we always want to choose a person or a topic that's a part of our pop culture that people are going to recognize easily. And sadly, Paul Rubens did pass away this year. And I grew up with Pee Wee Herman. For me, it brings joy to my heart, like all that, the wackiness, the craziness, the artsiness. I think it had a little bit to do with my upbringing and who I am as a person. And I think that people nowadays can still relate to Pee Wee Herman because everybody likes that wacky, kind of crazy character that's a little loud.
I remember the movie, I brought it up to the kids, 7th and 8th graders, they knew who he was. But then you have some that don't.
So I kind of had to show him like the scene where he kind of wakes up and he's making breakfast for himself, because I think that scene right there shows you exactly what kind of visuals we're looking for. So far in the school year, we've been drawing a lot. We've been learning about color, mixing colors. So now working in sculpture that's 3D, it's very hands-on. And at this age, it kind of is exciting. And it also makes him really think, because when you're building in 3D, you're using a lot of math, you're using a lot of science, you're using engineering. So it's really pushing these kids to really think outside the box and also push themselves as young artists to make something that doesn't look exactly like it, but also trying to do the best that they can and also put a little bit of themselves into it.
It's work, it's hard work, but when they see the final product and know that, man, I had a hand in that, like I helped build that, there's a sense of pride that people feel when they actually go and see it. It's just so inspirational seeing all the art and artistry from all the people that are building these altars.
Nimitz STEM Academy aren't the only ones remembering the beloved Paul Rubens. He's a pretty popular one here tonight. Just take a look at Bradley Middle School. This is their 9th year participating. This year they had to go bigger and better by actually making Pee Wee Herman out of packing tape. And get this, a student actually had to be a model and get wrapped in order to pull this off. They also used cardboard to build Cherry, the talking chair.
Yeah, and of course Pee Wee Herman made a special connection with San Antonians when he visited the Alamo in Pee Wee's Big Adventure. Lighthouse Public Schools say the scene where he's trying to find his bike in the basement of the Alamo is what inspired their design.
Thank you so much. And also Motley takes the stage when we come back. Stick around.
We are at Color Instinct, where people have been getting their faces painted by artists all day long. We want to introduce you to one of the painters named Red, and they explain why it's more than just paint on a face.
Living my culture is my everyday experience in life, but embracing it and expressing it and uplifting it, that's something I very specifically found through art. My name is Red. I am a Tranquilo body artist and community member. I think body arts and tattooing are one of the most ancestral forms of art that we all have in common across so many different cultures. And so this feels like something that is very natural to me. Tattooing led me into learning more about my roots and my culture because of the time that I spent tattooing my dad, honestly. We did a whole sleeve that was all about his indigeneity and Mexico and being Purépecha, and then the other side was about now, and a whole sleeve about Texas and about coming here. And so that entire process was really illuminating for me. I would see him and notice that when we were tattooing that he would travel, and I'm like, where are you going? And he's like, oh, I'm going to my childhood. I'm remembering this, in the montañas. I'm remembering my best friend who was a cow. I'm remembering, all these journeys. My grandmother who used to harvest alcatraces and sell them at the market. That really interested me, where we traveled when we closed our eyes and meditated. So asking questions like that made me really think about where I come from and what that culture means to me. This festival is something I look forward to every single year. I have people who come back every single year and wait for a face paint, and it's extremely exciting and an honor to be part of it, honestly. Some people wait in line for hours for face paint, but I know that it's worth it when they sit in the chair and they feel like calm and they're able to close their eyes and kind of like reflect on like why they're here and how they're honoring their loved ones during this time. So I like to ask questions like, who are you honoring today? Like who is the person that you're honoring, right? A loved one. How do you honor them? What do you leave on their altar? And so that'll give me like colors, that'll give me like their favorite kind of flower, and then I do my best to incorporate those into the designs so that it's specifically for them, you know. When I gain the trust and connection with community, it brings me so much joy. It makes me feel like a bigger part of myself. I feel a lot of like in Lakesh, like I am you, you are me, you are my other me. So being able to like see myself in others and others see themselves in me is a very, very important thing to me. Do you want to see it?
Yes. Oh my God, this is so, I don't want to wash it off.
I know.
This is so beautiful. Like the detail that you put into it is amazing.
I hope that when people walk into the booth that they can see how important art is to this tradition and to these ceremonies, how it's an integral part of expression and how we honor ourselves and how we honor our ancestors.
Okay, Red. So this is kind of your quiet hour now.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So tell me about what today was like. It was a little crazy for you guys.
Today was really beautiful. I really enjoyed being in front of the main stage here in the Civic Park and enjoying this new park in addition to Hemisfair Park. And it's been really great meeting all kinds of people from all over, really.
Okay, so what are we getting done here to my face?
So we're just gonna do like an accent type calavera. So really light undertones and then hard outline of the sugar skull.
I love this. This is my final stop for tonight. So I'm just really happy that I'm finally getting all dolled up properly at the end of the night. I don't want to talk. I don't want to mess her up. It looks so beautiful. I cannot believe Red got this done in just a couple of minutes. Hey, we're going to be right back.
It has been here at Muertos Fest, honoring lives lost, celebrating lives lived, and the amazing Osomatli.
Yeah, you can't stress that enough. The one word, the one reaction that I have is, wow. And this is what San Antonio is all about. And this is why I think it's awesome that Osomatli wrapped up the night, is because it's a fusion of music. And that's what San Antonio is. That when you come here, we make you feel like family. You are family and you're enjoying it. And this is just a wonderful, wonderful way to spend your time.
A fusion of music, a fusion of cultures coming together as San Antonio. Thank you so much for joining us. For all of us at KSAT 12 and Muertos Fest, we are so honored that you would join us for this very special event, honoring a holiday that has come to mean so much to so many.
And you know, we hope that we inspired you to honor your own loved ones in your own special way. And we invite everybody from San Antonio and beyond to join us right here next year for Dia de los Muertos at Hemisfair.
We'll leave you tonight with more from the amazing Osomatli. Thank you and good night.